Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from Multiverse TV. I am Peter, that is Connor, and of course we talk about the DC TV shows of the week. Namely, this week we're talking about Supergirl, we're going to talk about The Flash, we're going to talk about DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and I did watch the first and second episode of Arrow, Season 6, so it will be mentioned at the end. Although I want to specify this. Arrow gets it goes on whilst I'm doing other things. I don't focus on it to the same extent that I would the other shows. So
I don't think anyone blames you for that.
So you get kind of, if I've missed, I mean I don't think I do miss anything great and important, but just in case I do miss something. That's
You
why.
mean anything important happens in Arrow?
Well, there's occasional things. Every so often someone says bloodlust. Your ears must perk up for such a phrase.
Damn my drink.
Oh, he's got some booze.
Old habits die hard. What can I say?
Felicity's accusing someone of lying. You got to take that stuff in. It's important.
These things have to be noted and chronicled and archived.
Ah, dear. So obviously we'll talk about the shows at the end. We'll pick our favourite of the week, and yeah. So that's what's going to happen. So, first up, we have Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 2. It is called Triggers. Full spoilers. Well, full spoilers for all of them, but just we'll make a point of not spoiling the other ones whilst we're talking about one, in case you're skipping around using the timestamps. But yeah, so the first one, Supergirl here. So again, we have more of Samantha and her daughter, who we introduced to last episode, and we've seen that she kind of had super strength when she lifted the.
At least it feels a little bit less random this episode when she's getting her own plot. Whereas last week when it was just, oh hey, here's this new woman.
I kind of like it in retrospect because she has stuck around.
It makes it better. It still feels really random at the time though when you watch it, and that's the first episode.
I guess
like it stuck out.
That's the way to introduce her, I guess. I do like that we're building the villain this way this season, where she's a normal person right now, and she's sympathetic. She has a daughter.
I have to be honest. I'm really scared they're going to Smallville it. It really feels like Smallville's Doomsday. Which you never got that far. But in Smallville, Doomsday...
I sampled parts of those later seasons.
Oh, Jesus, you got that far. Okay.
I sampled.
So Smallville's Doomsday, he was a regular guy, he had a job, he was all nice, and every so often he would black out and do these other things, and he was unaware of that side of things. He couldn't consciously activate it.
Now, they could go down that path, but at least so far there's been no hint that there's another side of her. It's just a case of, she might have superpowers and she's unaware of them.
Right. But it's just the idea that she's unable to use it at will. It's like, okay, this only happened in that moment. It feels like, okay, she has no control over this at all. So I've just got a concern.
Well, just for now, that just means she's learning to use her powers, though.
It could be. I think
that's more likely than, it's going to be two sides of a personality and she's going to switch between them.
Yeah.
But at the very least, I appreciate that they're introducing her this way, just because it's different from previous seasons where, let's be honest, the villains have not been that hot. Whereas here, we're getting to know her a little bit, we get to care about her kid, and she actually has her own story. And, she has that moment towards the end of the episode where she actually picks up the crowbar and she's like, is it crazy that I picked up that thing? And she, tries, and she fails. But, again, as the episode is called Triggers, I expect there'll be, emotional response will be a part of what...
that would make sense.
What gets her going. And our daughter in this one is convinced she has powers, and she's her eyes on the ball. She's keeping this, which leads to her running into head for first danger towards the end of the episode.
Not the best idea.
No,
I mean, she thinks her mum has super strength, and it's like, okay, that's all well and good, but she isn't going to be able to fly in and get you, is she?
Yeah, and there's the villain of the episode, Sai's messing with a wrecking ball that's kicking around. She came into the scene like a wrecking ball, one might say. So we got her. The wrecking ball stuff was okay. I had fun with that flying around and having to save the kid and whatnot.
Yeah, it was one of the few times that scene. I think it was one of the few times the effects looked a bit wonky. It's when Supergirl goes flying into the building, and the corner, and all the rubble comes off.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
It
fair.
looked a bit wonky, but mostly it was all right.
It was mostly a fun sequence, and I'm calling that out for being fun because I do think the final fight with Sai suffers a bit from just being standing and taking the psionic blasts and walking forward, and you could have had some fun with it and had her try to dodge them maybe and had a bit more of an
And
action scene.
I'll be honest, I was a little confused about the whole psionic blast because up till that point, there had been no indication that she could do any psionic blasts. It had just been psychic manipulation, and then this just comes out of nowhere at the end of the episode.
I think the implication is that this was just kind of like because the psychic manipulation wasn't working, it was hitting her like a blast, and she was resisting.
I get that, but it was the way that every other time we'd seen it work, it just did it. Whereas when she was resisting it, you could see the wave. Like,
I have no answer for you, but
no, it's fine. I don't have a problem with her having that ability. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and I was a little confused when it started happening.
yeah, I just think she could have dodged it a bit, maybe have more of an action scene. That said, I did like that it ended with a headbutt. That was kind of funny.
Headbutts are always cool.
Well, it's especially funny because she's a psychic, though. She headbutted a psychic.
I get it, but
She used
headbutts
her-
are always cool.
She used her head to defeat a psychic. That's pretty funny. So, I'll give it that props. I don't think this was as strong as the first episode.
No, definitely not.
For that reason, that there's some fun Alex and Maggie stuff early on. Them arguing about the DJ or the band, especially when no one else knows what they're arguing about. And I knew it was going to be something stupid, like something that's not that
of course
important.
it was. As soon as you see Wins involved, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is something stupid for sure.
Yeah, and then John comes in and he's like, "Well, I think the option is clear. One lets you boogie or something." Like he says the word boogie.
Yeah. I think the best is that the moment where they tell him what it is and he just walks away, and you just think, oh, he's just sick of this nonsense. And then he turns around and gives an answer.
Very in-depth answer. He gives it some thought. He's like, "No, I'm going to give this some serious consideration as to what the plan should be." So no. So that was kind of funny. But at the end of the episode, there was a really obvious like rift sort of seed planted,
Yeah. I'm not feeling this.
where Maggie's not really ever really wanted to have kids, and Alex seems to want to have kids, and it's like, this feels like
This marriage isn't happening, is it?
such an obvious thing. I don't think it's happening this season. I think, or at least not the first attempt this season. I think they're going to split up before the wedding, but then they'll be back together and get married either at the end of the season or next season.
That's plausible. They're definitely splitting up soon, though.
They're definitely going to be split up for a while. It's absolutely happening. And here's the thing, is that it's annoying that it's happening because it's so predictable because it's what every TV couple does.
Yep. I'm bored of it.
We have to go through this with every big TV couple. Where we build up to them getting together, then they're happy for a while, and then they have to split up for a bit, and then they eventually realise they're idiots and get back together.
Do you know what the worst part
That's
is?
TV
You don't
couples.
even have to build up to them. I remember the How I Met Your Mother one. The big Marshall and Lily. They started off together. Like the first episode was them getting engaged because they'd already been together for years,
Oh, sure, yeah.
and then they split up at the end of the first season.
Yeah, they always have to do it. It's just, I don't know. At least with this couple, it's not the main couple of the show. We don't have to devote a ton of time to it.
No, but it's annoying because it's a good relationship, and it's
It
like,
is.
why are we going through this shit?
It is. Maybe they'll impress us and it'll actually be dealt with quite quickly, and they'll have a nice conversation about it, and it'll be done, and it'll be dusted. They'll be like, "Oh, maybe I've never thought about it, but maybe I'm open to it," and that'll just be it. Right, done. Okay, we're happy.
The cynic in me wants to tell you to piss off because it's not happening.
I don't think it's happening. I'm hoping they prove me wrong and don't do the really easy, oh, one of them wants kids and the other one doesn't, so let's have drama.
I think that's my. It's too much of it. Like, oh, it's so obvious what it's going to be that I don't even have it in me to hope that they're not going to do that.
I think because it's not necessarily that you couldn't do this. Like, see if you just had, because basically what happens is that Alex is talking to Ruby, and she's doing quite, she's being friendly, and she's being a good sort of like kid whisperer, I guess I'll refer to it as. It's a skill that I do not have.
Oh no, me either.
I
tell the little buggers to piss off.
as do. And do you know what the weird thing about kids is though, is they end up liking you and wanting to hang out with you more because you don't treat them like kids. Because you don't like them, they want to, like, they think you're cool or whatever.
Yeah, it's just
annoying.
like, piss off and leave me alone.
Before a certain age, once they get to like teenagers, they don't give a shit. But when you're talking like 12 and under, they're fascinated by the ones that ignore them, and it's like, no,
See,
go away.
Everyone hates teenagers. I like them because they leave me alone.
It depends on the context. If I'm in a movie theater, I don't want them anywhere near.
Oh no, okay, no, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, take them away. Loudmouth little
Oh,
shits.
last time I went to the movie, I went to see Blade Runner 2049. I was in one of the the fancy screens where you got to pay more. Like it actually costs more to get in, and I still had teenagers talking and on their phones. Piss off! Go to the cheaper screens and leave me alone. Infuriating.
But she's talking to this kid, and she's doing quite well. See, what they could have done is maybe just had Maggie give it a glance as she's seen her be really nice to this kid. Make it a bit more subtle.
Maybe she likes this.
But instead, we get, oh, you're really good with that kid. Yeah, well, let's practice for when we have our own one day. It's like, oh, I've never really thought about having kids. Awkward moment.
Yeah, no.
Even
before that, I've never really thought about it. Pause, like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
What do I say here? I've never thought about it.
Bit too obvious, bit soapy. Just could do it. Especially since, again, there's usually typically quite a good couple. And, so much of their relationship has been really well written. There's been a couple of them. I remember the Valentine's episode last year been a bit rough. But typically, Alex, coming out and realising she's gay and, finding Maggie has been a very well-developed story for the most part.
That's what makes it more annoying, though. If there were, if this was Cara and Mon-El, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be like, good. Less time for Mon-El for a while. But here I'm like, oh, I like this. Why are you doing this bollocks?
It's because drama, I guess. So what else is going on in the episode? So Cara, as much as she did decide to come back to the group last episode and she is trying to be better, we see that she's not completely fixed, which I kind of like. I like that it's not just a complete clean sweep and she's back to, happy-go-lucky. She's still, at the start of the episode, she still gets the alert that only the analysts are meant to get, but she she wants to be in on everything. She's like, no, I'm going after every criminal.
Still going after everything, yeah.
Yeah. So she's still got a bit of an edge to her, but she's definitely still learned from the last episode.
Softened.
Yeah, it's softened. So she's still got that, and that shows up perhaps more at work, because now, much like we said that Lena was integrating to Catco, she's actually going to be there running Catco. And honestly, as much as it might be kind of cheap drama to have Jimmy feel emasculated with Lena bossing him around, it's kind of fun.
It is, but I'm going to highlight a problem here.
Oh, go on.
Her being there full time makes Jimmy even more redundant as a character.
For now, maybe he could go back to being Guardian full time. Which, by the way, this season seems to have forgotten that he's. I mean, they mentioned it last episode, but there's been no Guardianing.
Right.
In the first
that's
two
my
episodes.
Point. His role has been, he's in charge of Catco. That's what defined him. And he was like, this isn't enough, so I'm going to be Guardian. And now Lena's just gone, well, I'm running Catco now. I don't need you, James. Piss off.
The bigger thing, obviously, came out of this plot, though, is that Cara kept pissing off. And it was I was like, how's she going to deal with this? Because Lena's going to expect her to be around a lot more because she expects to see her and wants to be friendly at work. And Cara's like, oh no, I need to run off. Although I actually did like when Jimmy's pissed at her, it's like the second time Cara runs off and makes an excuse. Oh, I need to go do something. And she's like, why is she running out of her job so much? And Jimmy just turns around and goes, she's a reporter, she's doing her damn job.
It's pretty good, to be fair. Reporters are meant to be out and about.
Yeah, but I love that he knows, and he is covering for her, but at the same time he's putting some
It's a little passive aggressive, wasn't it?
There's some venom in that comment. I was like, yeah, Jimmy.
It really feels like this season is the one where Lena's going to find out, though. Feels like it's only a matter of time.
She has to find out. And is that what turns her evil because she was keeping a secret?
That's it. I mean, do they go, it's a secret, turns her evil, or do they go, at some point she comes out to her and goes, no, look, I'm going to have to tell you.
Yeah, but we can see.
I really just don't want her to be evil at this point, especially seeing as she owns Catco now. It's like, well, fine, you fired.
So, yeah, but the big scene that comes from all this is that Cara basically Lena comes up and tries to talk to her because she says, maybe the Mon-El thing's still... Which, by the way, if she can't figure it out when she was dating Mon-El, I don't know how she... stupidity is all I'm saying. Kara's dating Mon-El, and then Mon-El's an alien and has to leave the planet, and Supergirl's involved the whole time. It's just... there's a point where... Come on,
Lena's
Lena.
not as smart as she thinks she is she?
I mean, she's supposed to be a genius. She's supposed to be like developing all this technology with her
Do you know
company.
what? I kind of hope they pull a Cat in the sense that no, she knows, but she's just being nice about it.
This is the thing, though. Every time Kat looked at her, I was like, she knows. But when Lena looks at her, I'm just like,
I don't think she does.
yeah. If anything, I'm just seeing like, not horniness, but like, like, oh, I want to
I'm
snuggle.
with you.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like
like
this
the puppy
loving
dog
look.
ads, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know. She's got a lady boner,
She definitely does.
but
I'm okay with that.
yeah. Again, why is there more lesbian tension between these two? I mean, don't get me wrong, Maggie and Alex are great, but why is there more lesbian tension between Kara and Lena than there is the actual lesbian couple? I'm not sure.
I think Lena's into her, but she doesn't say anything because she thinks Kara's straight. So she's like, I'm not going to say anything. But
Why
we're
do
gonna
you say
get
that
on
as
the
if
looks."
she actually isn't straight?
No. But I just mean
Yeah.
she doesn't know. Like she's like, well, I'm pretty sure, so I'm not going to say anything.
Kara's-
That I think I wouldn't be surprised if it did that.
Maybe. We've not seen Lena date anyone. Oh no,
Exactly.
she had the ex. She had Ravi. Was that not an
Oh,
ex?
yes. Yeah, no, she had an ex.
Yeah.
Was he? Was he?
Yeah, it was. He was an ex. But you know, bisexual's a thing. So, you know,
I was just trying to remember if he was an ex or a business partner thing.
rock on. I think it was both.
Maybe it was both. Maybe that's why I'm mixing it up.
There was definitely feelings. I'm sure there was feelings. Anyway, where was it? Yeah, so this big scene where Lena's like tries to talk to her about it and like be a friend and like, oh, I understand. Maybe you should take time off because you know you're clearly still coping with this. And Larry's like, well, how about you're not my friend at work, biatch. Yeah, I'm condensing and paraphrasing.
It's like, hey, piss off. I want to do my job.
Yeah, and then Lena's like, well, if I'm going to be the boss, then you keep running out and not doing what I tell you, biatch. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but that was basically it.
Subtext was there for that.
The subtext was there for both their sentences. And it's funny because last episode she was trying to quit her job and everyone talked her back into it, and I'm like, you know, Cara, it would actually just be easier. Just quit the job. It'd be easier at this point.
Yeah, like I get that they want you to have something to feel like, oh, I'm connected to the real world, but just be friends with Lena. Be friends with the others, but
Yeah.
you're not doing your job.
Yeah, because unlike most heroes, you actually work for the DEO, which should be paying you if they're not. So
Yeah, they know your identity. They can get your
on.
bank account.
I like how you think that's the hurdle.
Oh, shut up.
So, but yeah, so obviously Kara comes and apologizes later, and they have the whole thing, and that's when we get a neat little twist actually, because all episode, Samantha has been like, you know, she keeps getting interrupted by her kid getting into trouble, but she's been like, oh, it's my first day at this new job, I've got this new great important job, and all that thing, and it's funny because because obviously Lena has this whole thing where she's like, wait, only the bosses might use this elevator? No, everyone can use this elevator. That's silly. You know,
Yeah.
Kat's going to be livid when she visits. She's going to be livid.
When she comes up in that elevator and there's like 6 other people in it.
Yeah, and she's just going to look at Lena's like, what have you done? What have you done to my elevator?
No, but I actually, when it kind of revealed this at the end, I didn't realize it was a reveal at first because it cuts from Samantha telling us, oh, she's at first day on the new job, to Lena saying, oh, don't worry, I've set things up, I put things in place so it can run without me. And I'd kind of just put the two together without thinking about
That's fair. I actually kind of recognised the elevator, which is what I was getting at. As I was like, that's elevator. Like, I actually didn't think it was the same building. I thought what they were doing was they were being cheap and using the same elevator, but it was supposed to be a different building. And I went,
Yeah.
oh, you're being cheap. That's just the Catco elevator. But fair enough. At the end, it turns out she was actually in Catco, so it's okay.
Yeah.
That's me being a bit more cynical, I think, rather than just making the obvious plot connection. But no, I like this. I like that we got to know her for a couple of episodes, especially this one, before she's actually integrated with our main cast.
Yeah. It's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, and where it goes from here, who's to say? I wonder if she'll be more of like more of a Catwoman-esque kind of villain, where she's like a kind of a villain, but then she's kind of an ally as well, maybe.
Maybe.
Will she go full evil? Won't she? Because at least right now, she doesn't seem to have any reason to go evil. And I mean, unless it's like what you were predicting with it's just like two personalities.
I think that's partially why I'm predicting that, because I don't see it being a Catwoman situation, because we've been told since the end of the last season in press sense, we've been told she's the big bad. So I'm kind of like, well, who are they teaming up against?
Well,
Unless they're swerving us.
I'm thinking her daughter gets killed, and that's what sets her off.
Right. And I was gonna say B, I don't see what our motivation is other than that at the minute. Like I say, unless that happens. But that seems dark for this show.
I hope they do it. No, I mean, the girl's fine. Like when I get to Arrow
Not the
later,
best actress.
oh, she's much better than Oliver's son. Oh, oh no. But yeah, she's okay. She's fine. She's whatever. She's better than Oliver's kid.
I think she's a standard kid actor, which is like, not great but bearable.
Not great, but you're used to it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You're
I
used
just wanted to mention it. It stands out when you have some really fantastic acting on this show.
Do you know what I really hate about the credits on IMDb?
Oh no.
It's got Chris Wood listed as Monel, and it says credit only next to it, which implies he's still a regular, which means he's definitely coming back.
Why did you do this to me?
I don't want it. I don't want him back at all. Now it's amazing we've spoke for 20 minutes and we've still not talked about the main villain of the episode.
Oh, we mentioned the Super Psionic Blasts.
Oh, we mentioned the final fight, but we didn't mention. So Sai is robbing banks and stuff, and Supergirl goes to stop her, and obviously she gets hit with these psionic, manipulations. Making her dizzy, giving her these weird visions, and seeing her fears, and basically making her feel kind of like she's got vertigo and claustrophobia. That's probably better than vertigo, but it has that kind of like skewing the image kind of feel to it, where you're like she's going oh. So anyway, what was I getting at? Yeah, so she does that once, it messes her up, and then but the fun thing is she has that moment in the elevator where it's like okay, Sai's robbing another bank. She rips the shirt open, but then she starts to get dizzy, and she's in the elevator with her shirt open. And it's
I like how she's had it twice before where she's had this, been affected by it. We know it's a thing that's specific to her because Alex mentioned how she had these episodes as a kid. So and then it's like this has just triggered it, to go back to the title of the episode, to be like, okay, no, this is a thing again, and because she gets in the lift because that's a typical thing for claustrophobia.
And there's no reason not to think that Sai's not doing this in some way. But then in the next scene, you find out that no, Wynn has traced it. It's like no, there's no signs of psychic intervention here. This is.
I will say, really doesn't help a secret identity, does it?
Well, no, that's
blasting through the lift and then through the roof.
That's true. The maintenance crew are going to be wondering what the hell happened.
I will say, better than her getting to the ground floor and it opening, and her being there with her shirt open and the glasses off.
Exactly. I kind of like that moment because she was vulnerable. Because if the lift stopped, if the elevator stopped, and someone saw this, it was like, oh dear.
It reminds me of a nice little touch where Lena mentioned Supergirl, and she just subconsciously just pushes her glasses in, just adjusts them to make sure they're on. It's a nice touch. Just she's a little bit worried.
I feel like she's done that a dozen times at this point. Just that exact moment where someone mentions Supergirl and she's like,
maybe. But I really noticed it this one. Maybe, okay. But I like That's it. Fair. It's a nice touch.
The second big vision she has is a really cool little moment actually, because she has this POV. It's like her leaving the planet on the ship.
Yeah.
Like we saw at the start of the first season. Except of course Erica Durance is now playing the mother.
Still more than okay with that.
But it's a POV shot. We're actually inside the little ship, and we actually fly out, and we see the sun. But we see this other ship jump, which to me was like this. It was like indicating rain because she left at the same time. But later on, Supergirl interprets it as, I saw Krypton. Sorry, not Krypton. Sorry, I saw Mon-El's ship.
Yeah, see, at the moment, I thought that was meant to be Clark's ship.
Okay.
She saw Clark's ship, and then she was supposed to go, at the same time, but she got knocked off.
It's funny that I never jumped to Clark's ship. I went straight to Rain, but I think it's because this season's building up to her.
Yeah, and we saw Rain's ship last episode.
Yeah, from the finale.
And maybe it was Rain's ship. Maybe that's going to be a moment later on that, it was Rain's ship all along that she'd seen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just assumed it was Clark's.
Could work either way, but I think I just jumped to that because the season's building to it, so it just made more sense.
And in speaking of jumping to, I wonder if I jumped to the whole Samantha thing being like Smallville. I wonder if that's just because Erica Durance is here and Smallville's in my mind because I'm seeing her.
You know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. So that was pretty much the whole episode. I think we covered all
Yeah, it
that.
was all right. No, it was pretty good. Not as good as last week.
It wasn't as good as last week. There was some stuff. I like that they're building up Samantha as a character, because she already, because of that, feels more developed than either the season 1 or 2 villains. Sai was okay. I liked her cockiness, if nothing else. She wasn't great, but
yeah, her whole thing was money is happiness, so get money. But she never seemed very happy.
yeah, it was all very base level stuff. It was just kind of to have the thing. And like I say, the final fight could have been a lot more interesting. The Wrecking Ball stuff was okay. The headbutt was funny. A couple of good character moments. And
Wynn had a few good moments, so I'm happy.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I actually did really like, is that I like that after that big vision of the POV one with the ship, she doesn't tell anyone else that she saw something like that, but it's Wynn that she goes to and pulls aside. And
because she has chemistry with Wynn.
She has chemistry with Wynn. She has a history. She trusts Wynn, and she sort of brings it up as like, oh, you're the one who can maybe like, because you're working on the anti, like, because he builds a little device to try and block the psionic stuff. But
classic Wynn.
So she dresses up in that, but I do like to think that it's also just because she trusts Wynn to an extent, which actually leads me to probably the comedy standout of the episode, where after she's back again after the elevator incident, and she leaves the sick bay, and Alex is like aware they've been talking about something, and she doesn't say anything. She just walks up and keeps walking towards Wynn and just keeps getting closer, and then she's like right in front of him, and he keeps backing away, and she just like. And then eventually, like, he just keeps talking. He won't shut up. And then eventually, and I'm going to tell you everything. And then Alex just got this grin across her face, like, yeah.
Do you know what? You say that, and Alex comes over to Kara's apartment, which I really noticed the lampshades on the on the light bulbs. Mm-hmm. They're just glass jars. Hipster as shit. I hate it. I only noticed that because the edit into the room started on them, and it lingered on it. I was like, what? But the point I was getting at was, Alex comes up and goes, yeah, Wynn can't keep a secret for shit. And I like that maybe Kara knows that as well, because they all must know that. So that's why she told Wynn, it's like, yeah, okay, this will get back to Alex, and I don't have to tell her directly.
Yeah. Obviously, later on, they're together watching Wizard of Oz, so they're happy enough.
Yeah,
having the sisterly moment. That's cool. Obviously, the one scene we're not mentioning is the very ending. We get a tease at the end. McGann shows up, Miss Martian, and tells Jean that he's needed on Mars. So I wonder if that means he's going to be missing for a couple of episodes, and then we'll find out what was happening.
I thought it was really weird putting that in the episode with the psychic villain, because I almost thought, for a moment I was like, has she gotten free? Like it kind of made me think, how's she affecting him? Because it seemed like a fear. Oh, there's a problem on Mars with McGann. Like, this feels like a fear for him.
Maybe that'll be a twist. Maybe that'll be revealed. I did think, because obviously Jean, the second time they fight Sai, he from base kind of like tries to like fight her psychically,
and she just shuts him down,
and she wins. And
a bit cheap.
I actually thought when Supergirl left to go fight her, I went, why is she going again? She got her, she got beat last time. Send Jean. Jean's got the psychic abilities. He might have a chance.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Felt a little bit easy for me that this random meta who's been doing this for, I think it was said like 4 months or something like that, can just beat Jean.
Jean's power levels in this show fluctuate all over the place.
They do. I mean, that's the same can be said for most of the DC heroes on the CW show.
That's true. Jean especially though. Yeah. Jean especially though is pretty bad. But hey ho. That'll take us on to The Flash, Season 4, Episode 2. It's called Mixed Signals. So if you told me before this episode that it was going to have Iris and Barry going to couples therapy, I would have groaned and went, oh, that sounds terrible. However...
it's you say that, and I heard the title then, Mixed Signals, and I wanted to make it's a bit of a mixed bag joke.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It was better than the premiere, because they play all the couples therapy stuff. You get your dramatic point at the end of it. Don't get me wrong. Iris has a breakdown, and he's like, "Oh, you left me, Barry. You left me." And she's
about
obviously
time, because we kind of complained about that last week, that it was a bit weird for her.
But it kind of works now, because she was bottling it up, and this was. I
mean, that's something we mentioned in Supergirl. That's something that worked better in retrospect after the second episode.
Yeah, exactly. But most of it was played for laughs, and it was genuinely really funny. And here's why I think it worked, like, especially well. is because, okay, it was played for laughs, which is great. It was really, and it was genuinely quite funny. Like, you know, when he speeds off because there's an emergency, and they've been joking like, oh, you keep writing that down. Is that right down worthy? And at the end, when he speeds off to go and like save Joe from a grenade that's going off, she's like, "You're going to write that down, aren't you?" And it's like, "Oh yeah," and she's like, dead serious about it. She's like, "Mm-hmm," and Iris just keeps smiling, and I'm like, "Okay, that was really funny." But beyond the comedy, do you know why this works? Because the dynamic in these couples therapy scenes, especially in shows where a character has a secret, not even just superhero shows, I'm thinking like Breaking Bad and things like that, typically you'll have one of them, usually the guy, with a secret because he's a hero or he's a criminal or whatever, and everything that comes up, he sounds really bad in context for the therapist because it seems like he's avoiding things, but there's a reason why he hides things, there's a reason why he's doing things.
Yeah.
This changed that dynamic up because Iris was in it the entire time. Iris knows all the secrets. They both have the secrets. They're both hiding them, and it actually completely changes the dynamic of the scene because instead of them hiding things from each other, they're both sharing this secret from the therapist.
It puts them like, this is supposed to be it's a therapy thing to get them closer, bring them back together, and weirdly, them having the secret and sharing it and being against the therapist kind of naturally forces them together.
Yeah, because what they get to later on in the episode is when they kind of make up, or not make up. Maybe that implies more of a fight beforehand. But when they rekindle towards the end, and Iris is like, "No, like, this is the thing. You keep thinking of me. The earth is resting on my shoulders. No. When you asked me to marry you, we became the Flash, not just you. I'm part of these, And I get what she means, even if it sounds a little bit.
It's a stupid line, and it has led to some glorious shit posting on Reddit across all of the subs, not just for the Flash.
I'm sure it has. I do want to remind you, though, there was a line of dialogue in like episode 4, season 1, where Barry looked at his entire team and said, "We were all struck by lightning that night."
I know. Equally as stupid.
So it's not a new thing, that's all I'm saying. But in terms of putting them in the same footing, it actually worked really well. Also, the funniest part of the whole thing for me, though, was when they kept listing people that had died traumatically in their lives, and then they said a couple of ones that came up, like Mother and like Eddie, and then Barry's like, "Oh, and Ronnie and like he named like 5 people like really quickly."
Of like Laurel was one of them, which was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. Well. It's not as weird as last season when Caitlin said that, "Oh, we loved Laurel, we all did." Like, how you spoke to her like twice,
like once.
God damn it! Jesus, stupid. You're not that close.
I know, it cracked me up. I really feel like all the other writers are going, "Shit, they killed Laurel. We've got a cover for them." The fans are going mad. It's like, we love Laurel. We can't kill Laurel. She's important. It's like, and all the others are going, "Well, we're gonna cover our asses. We love Laurel. Don't worry."
She's the Black Canary.
Yeah.
Oh. So therapy stuff was fun. I really like Barry because I think I really worried at this episode that it was going to be about Barry and Iris fighting, but honestly they played it for laughs. The dramatic points they made sense, and then by the end of the episode when it was like, no, like, okay, it really felt like, oh, we're rounding out this Flash rebirth, if we're calling it that, where he's back to being kind of happy, and he's got Iris, they're in sync. She's got her new role as leader of the team. Obviously, because there's some mistakes earlier on where she tells him to make a turn because this is a better idea, and he says, no, I've got a better idea, and does his own thing. Although it did lead to him saving someone in a rogue car by stripping the car down to just the seat, and then the guy's just skidding across the road.
Very glorious, not gonna lie.
In the car seat. That was pretty funny. I approve of that.
I also like that he didn't just take off the wheels, because that car still weighs a few tons. It's gonna skid. He thought it through.
Yeah, true. That was good.
Physics, people.
So, yeah, the main plot of the episode is that Kilgore is a thing. Kilgore, of course, is an AI villain from the comics.
Good name still.
I don't think he's specifically from The Flash, though, is he? I thought he's just a general DC.
I think he's just a general.
Yeah.
I don't think he's big enough to have a specific villain.
Oh, you mean a specific hero?
Yes.
There you go.
You know what I meant.
But the way they did it in this show is that we've got this guy who's kind of he's like this guy. There was this team of tech people, kind of Silicon Valley types, and one of them had this idea for Kilgore. 3 of them used it, got rich, and then the one who was sort of left behind
shafted the guy who came up with the idea.
he is basically developed it to something even greater. He controls it with his mind, and he's showing up and he's killing them all with technology. He's like the guy in the elevator at
I
the
have a
start.
question. Who names their tech Kilgore? And who thinks that's a good name? That's not ominous. I get it from a villain point of view, but
well, to be fair, the guy who named it is the guy who turned into a psychopath and went murdering people. So he clearly that's in his head.
None of the others went, hey, maybe we should call it something else, because the first one is the first one in the car or the first one in the lift?
Elevator's the first one.
Yeah. So on the elevator, on the panel, it flashes Kilgore, and they go, oh shit, I know what this is. So none of the others went, maybe we should call it something else.
Do you know, I kind of like when Barry gets to the crime scene and you never see what's in the elevator, but they're just looking in and like, oh man, it's like a bloodbath in here. And he's like, yeah, the elevator didn't just drop. This was going up and we've seen it actually do this, but he's like, yeah, this went up and down. This was being shook. Essentially.
I love when Cisco shows up. He's like so smug. He's like, hey, tech guy coming through.
He's like,
and then he gets there, it looks at it, he goes, why the hell did you show me that?
It's very good. It's very good. So they're trying to do that, and honestly, I mean, the Kilgore plot's like whatever. It's not a big deal. It does lead to some fun stuff with Barry at the end though, because Cisco in his new suit and the new Flash suit put in a lot of technology, and I'm glad it was played for laughs, and I'm glad that everything that happened in this episode showed no, okay, we should take all of this out, because I was okay with the HUD to a point, right?
Yeah, I don't think he really needs it, but I get it from Cisco being, hey, this is cool, I'm going to put it in.
But then he did an Iron Man repulsor blast, and I'm like, oh no, that's not Flash.
Get rid of that.
Take that away. But luckily, so the idea is that because he's got all this tech, that Kilgore towards the end, so that he uses the repulsor blast to make Barry knock out Wally. Poor Wally's just kind of like knocked out for the final fight.
Wally's kind of gets a shaft in this episode.
He kind of does. Even though, he seems more uncomfortable with his character this season so far.
Yeah.
He feels like he belongs there even more than he usually does, so that's nice.
He just didn't really have anything to do this episode.
Yeah, he needs more to do, but yeah, at least, I see a future for him if they decide to actually give him some things to do. But yeah, so we had some funny stuff where we find out like his suit inflates at one point because the comms have went out because he had to sort of overcharge himself to make things not work. He has to go to a payphone and phone in headquarters like that and talk to Cisco over the phone, which really made me laugh.
I like the reference as well. The self-destruct sequence with the Babel protocol.
Yeah, which is a reference to the Justice League story, Tower of Babel, which is basically the story where the Justice League all find out that Batman has like basically protocols for all of the other Justice League members to take them all out. So it's a neat little reference. That was pretty cool.
It was nice.
I chuckled when he said that.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool. So we had that. My favorite part of it actually was obviously it was funny seeing the suit inflate and like all that, and have him on the payphone. But my favorite part of all this was Cisco trying to justify all of the things that he put in the suit back at the base, especially when he got to the.
The inflation was a great one though, because he was like, "Well, what if he's out at sea? And because he can run on water. What if he's out at sea and he loses powers?" It's like he'll need to float. It's like, well, add an oxygen tank. Like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and he keeps giving these stupid reasons, and they keep shooting him down. It gets to the self-destruct, and it's just like, oh man. So I saw someone tries to like take it off of him.
That's the deadlock one. It's like, well, what if he gets knocked down? Someone tries to take his mask off.
That's right. He can't move. Yeah, that was that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Yeah. What was his reason for the self-destruct then?
I can't remember. I feel like it was just in case someone got hold of the suit.
Yeah.
In general.
But yeah, that's not a good plan. Don't put self-destruct in your friend's suit.
No,
doesn't matter what it is, just don't do it. But basically, yeah, the end result is okay. I'm going to take all of it out. I'll leave the earpiece in so we can talk to him, but other than that, that's just.
And I'll leave the gold.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Because the gold is cool.
Yeah, the suit looks nicer than it has done before, so that's nice. We said that it was the same suit from the Flash Forward from last season, so.
Yeah,
still looking nifty.
I actually think it looks a little bit better than it did in that. I don't know if they've refined it just a touch. So I remember thinking in that episode it looked a bit bulky, but I don't think it does anymore.
Maybe. So yeah, we got a cool scene where he goes to save Joe from a grenade, and we see Barry like grab all the little bits of shrapnel from the grenade, So that was a cool little scene.
Nice.
So no, it was fun. So yeah, the main plot wasn't anything to write home about, but it was just kind of it made for some fun moments. The technology stuff. At first, I was worried, like, why are you putting all this in the Flash? But then it became very clear that the whole point was, no, this is why we don't put technology in the Flash's suit. He does not need it, and all it does is cause problems. And then, of course, it ties back into the Thinker at the end of the episode. Kilgore was kind of one of his pawns. The worrying part about this, though, is he looks at a screen that he's got, and there's like 11 other empty slots, implying to me that we're going to have 11, villains for the next 11 weeks.
That was my concern as well. And then I thought about it, and I was like, right, well, it can't be. I thought, okay, so this is the plan for the season. I thought, well, there's only 11, so it can't be, a full season of just that.
And it can't be in a row because we have the crossover to deal with
exactly
before Christmas.
So these have got to be reasonably spread out. Like every other episode just about gets us to the end of the season.
Yeah, it feels a little bit weird to just map it out like that for the audience. Like here, there's going to be.
It does. I hope they kind of surprise us and throw like 3 at once, like they all try together, sort of thing. It's like, right, well, that's gone like that. Cool.
Or at the very least, maybe if they're not just outright like villains, like per usual, like maybe there's something different about them. Like
maybe they're just not chumps and they take more than one episode. They'll make an attempt and they'll retreat and come back.
Yeah, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Still no Wells. We're waiting on the Wells arriving. He's still a regular, so he's definitely coming.
But we did get some multiversal travel.
We did. Gypsy showed up. She had a date with Cisco, who kept fobbing her off because he kept working.
Was pretty damn fantastic, I might say.
What? In what way?
Gypsy. Just last season, I was like, okay, she's fine, but this season, this episode, she's cracking me up.
Yeah, she was pretty funny, especially all the it's fine, Cisco, and then Caitlin's like, no, Cisco. When a woman says it's fine, it's not fine. You screwed up.
So I was watching this with the girlfriend, and she, when Caitlin said that, she just looked at me and went, "You're listening to this?" I was like, "Oh dear."
That's what. Just speak English. Just say things you mean.
Yeah, but it's 1-1-1 day. What do you expect?
Oh, piss off with your 1-1-1 day. And Shaquille O'Neal day was the other one that he brought
glorious.
up. Yeah, that's fun. The funniest part was maybe when he then did, he then spoke to her again, cancelled again, and made sure it was okay, and he walked away, and the camera stayed on her, and she went, he has no idea how in trouble he is right now.
I don't know, it's just cracking me up, and I'm down for having more of her.
Yeah, I can see her popping in, But
they've got an excuse to have her when they want her, and then, okay, we don't want her this episode, she doesn't need to be here. It just works.
Yeah, so they have the day at the end. There's some fun moments. So no, so that's cool. That was pretty much it, right? There wasn't a whole. We didn't get any more of the Caitlin like villain.
No,
plot.
she was just fine this episode.
Yeah. Joe was just kind of there for everything that was going on. So
Joe was there to be the damsel.
It was, yeah, but it made for a fun scene. So
Joe's pretty good at that.
So yeah, straightforward episode in that sense, but it was a lot more fun than the last one. It was tighter paced, and the comedy was really nice and pleasant, especially since last season was so dour for a lot of it. This season it feels like, no, we're going to ramp up the fun aspects.
It almost feels like they're overcompensating a little, because we got so much of it in this episode. But I'm okay.
It worked though, it was funny. We even got Barry doing the risky business dance in his underwear at the start of the episode, but he was making breakfast.
Right, that was good. It was good fun.
So,
I don't know, I feel like this was a significant improvement over the first episode.
Yeah.
Which was fine, it was good, but it was definitely the last week, I think we agreed, that was easily the weakest episode.
Of the 3 shows last week, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas here I feel like, no, okay. If this had been last week's episode, it would have been, much tighter contention. Yeah,
it would have been a clean sweep almost in terms of quality last week, had this been the premiere.
Yeah.
But hey, so no, pretty good. I mean, the Thinker plot's still kind of like whatever. He's just
I'm not convinced on that. They really need to do something with this to show me why it's a good idea.
Yeah, he's got this Power Rangers style set, and he's like floating in his chair, and he's got his 11 more villains planned. It's like, okay, because it almost kind of feels like last season with damn, I've forgotten all the names. Savitar. He had all his villains like popping up. In fact, even Zoom in season 2 had all his villains coming from Earth 2. It
was a bit formula, except they never told us, hey, there's going to be 12 of these before.
That's true. So it was just kind of
a bit more like a slap in the face, doesn't it?
It feels like a video game checklist.
It These are all the mini bosses,
Yeah.
and then here's the big boss at the end.
And I don't think a TV show should ever feel like there's a checklist.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, because last season literally had a checklist of things they needed to change in the future. Like they wrote it on a board. This is the checklist of things we need to do.
Yeah, but at least all those things were wildly different things. Whereas this, it's like, no, here's 12 villains, and it's like,
Yeah.
I can only interpret that as 12, typical Flash villains of the week, and that's
Pretty
not
much.
that exciting.
And the thing is, like, okay, I get, okay, you start with your weakest because that's how video games work. But if Kilgore is anything to judge by, these are going to be thoroughly unexciting villains for most of them.
But here's the thing: this episode was a lot of fun, regardless of Kilgore not being that great, and I think that might be the key for this being a good season. Is that if the character stuff is solid throughout and it keeps being entertaining and funny, I wouldn't really care that much if the villains are. It's kind of like how Supergirl season 1 and 2 didn't really have a great villain, and
No, I think you're right. I agree with that. I just think I've come to expect more from Flash.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think its overarching plots have typically been pretty strong. And so far, this feels like it needs to really do something to kind of match.
Okay, so I think we'll move on then to DC's Legends of Tomorrow season 3 episode 2. It's called Freakshow. They go back in time to a freak show, circus kind of thing. Billy Zane guest stars. Of course, there has to be a Titanic joke because Victor Garber, who plays Stein, was on Titanic, so he pokes fun at himself. He even references his character from Titanic.
Not the first time he's made a Titanic joke either on this show.
Yeah, I vaguely remember another one, but obviously they had to make one this episode because there's a co-star popping up.
Right, that's it. I remember one before because it was like, well, he was on it, we had to make it. It's time travel, why not? But this one seemed particularly...
Mick's afraid of clowns. We learned that this episode.
It's a very common fear, actually.
He runs out and screams, "Die, clown," as he tackles one, which is pretty good. So basically there's an anomaly, and the anomaly here is that there's a saber-toothed tiger. This, Billy Zane's character, he's got a saber-toothed tiger locked up.
Why not? I like saber-toothed tigers. They're always fun.
And luckily, though, Ray's developed a new technology. It's kind of the same thing that he uses on himself, but he now has a shrink ray. And I was just thinking, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is funny because they make a reference to that.
I love how he describes. I can't remember what he describes it as. He says all these technical words, and again, I was watching this guy from so it's a shrink ray, and then I can't remember which of them that says it. And one of them in there goes, "So it's a shrink ray."
Yeah, they all end up saying it at some point. I like that he hates that name because his name's Ray. And he doesn't want to be called a shrink ray, but it's a shrink ray. So we end up getting the saber-toothed tiger shrunk down to like cat-sized, and it's like the most adorable thing ever.
So adorable. It's amazing. I want one.
And then it gets bigger again inside the ship because it runs out after a day. After 24 hours, it gets bigger again.
Who cares? Just keep zapping it. I want one.
And they end up getting chased around the ship. That's actually why they get Amaya back, because Sarah goes to pick her up on the shuttle. Because, hey, that's an animal. We need her because she can calm the animal down. And she comes along. Which actually, talking about that, we should talk about the flashback scene at the start.
We should, yes.
We basically see that Amaya was living in present day with Nate, and we even get to see the Flash storm from the end of season 3 of The Flash. It's on the news in the background. That's a nice little touch. But they seem very happy. They're very loving. They're making out on top of the kitchen counter, and
she's making donuts.
Yeah, and it doesn't go very well, so he says, "I'll go and buy some donuts."
Because that's how you do it. You just buy them.
Yeah,
so right.
So yeah, but then she sees her granddaughter on the news, and she goes to see her, and she basically just leaves. That's the thing. I feel like I actually really sympathise with Nate in this plot because she doesn't even leave a note. She just leaves.
What a bitch!
It literally goes from her being like in the happiest relationship ever to him going out to get donuts and coming back, and just she's gone with no explanation.
It's basically he's going, right, I'm going to buy donuts, and then we're going to eat donuts and then have sex on this counter. That's the scene. Like he's even, he's like, I can think of some other uses for that chocolate. Don't you worry.
Yes, that is what's happening.
That is the scene. He even says that.
And then she vanishes. So you can't blame him for being a little bit pissed, and obviously she gives reasons later on, and we hear about it. Her granddaughter was going to be erased from time because she was spending too much.
Leave a note.
Yeah, leave a note. Yeah, nothing wrong with leaving a note. So, but obviously we find out that she went nuts and killed all those soldiers. Basically, she lost control of her power, and it took over, and she got vicious.
Look cool though.
It did look cool, and it almost happens again in this episode. But Nate calms her down, and kind of Vixen whisperers her.
Yeah, but in her defense, being a bear seems cool.
Being a bear's okay. Being a bear's alright. That's the thing. This is also an episode where half the team get kidnapped at various points, in pairs no less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray and Jackson get kidnapped, and then
because Nate's a drunk dumbass.
Yeah. Nate, of course, gets out scot-free though, until later on when he and Amaya get kidnapped.
Yep.
And Billy Zane's wanting them all to be freaks in his show because he's overheard that they have powers, and he drops the Man of Steel line that he's like, oh, that's good, write that down.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very good.
But again, it's one of those where the show's self-aware enough that it's like, okay, you're not making this in earnest, you're just having fun with it.
Also, I love that this show basically has its own Kyle now in the form of Gary from the Time Bureau who's tailing them, and Sarah kidnaps them and ties them up and forces him talk to Ava, and then Ava shows up and we get Ava versus Sarah, and the sexual tension in this fight is,
oh my god, so much
going through. They're basically hitting each other just so they don't do other things to each other, and that's all that scene is.
It's coming at some point this season. I'm calling it now. Sarah seduces everyone throughout all of history, so why not Ava?
It's basically, see the scene afterwards when they're talking, and she kind of almost lets slip that there's this big bad coming, and they're not suitable to take it on, and the entire scene is basically, there's very few times when I'll talk about a scene with two female characters and say they're measuring their dicks, but they were measuring their dicks in that scene.
Yeah,
that's what was happening.
Whole fight, the whole thing is like, oh, we're too evenly paced. Like, should we take a break? Yeah, let's take a break. Let's get some water.
Yeah, so well matched.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've never wanted Sarah to be in a relationship with anyone more than Ava now at this point. They're so evenly on par. Hey.
Remember when Sarah was having that whole thing with Snart?
Oh yeah, I recall that.
It was nowhere near as fun, was it?
No, it was okay. It
was fine. I think at the time though, we were going, yeah, but we've got this Ray and Kendra bollocks.
Yeah,
that seemed like that's the gold standard. Aim for that.
Which actually, to this episode's credit, there's a worry, because there was always a worry last season that Nate and Amaya might turn into that, and it never did. And in this episode, there was also a worry that it could, but it didn't. It handled it fairly well. She gave a good reason for what was going on. Him being pissed at her when she showed up made sense because we saw what she did, and it was actually kind of a bullshit thing to do.
Yeah, he's in the right to be pissed off.
And also, when they were happy in that flashback, it was more convincingly and had more chemistry than the Ray
anything
Kendra.
With Kendra ever.
Yeah, so, all of it worked much better. So and I think this falls into, maybe not quite as a dip as Supergirl, but I didn't like this as much as last week's Legends.
I agree.
Just because the main plot wasn't as exciting, didn't lead to as much.
I did like that the circus had Dragon Balls. Don't know why it had Dragon Balls, but it did. Sure. And I was waiting for a dragon to appear all episode. Not gonna lie.
No. Tough. So that was.
I did like Mick punching a clown. He overcame his fear to go and save Stein.
That was good. Yeah. Stein, who dresses up as a clown, by the way, for the finale.
That's so good.
And then connects with Jax, and they actually start flying around all Firestorm style. But yeah. So the best moment of this entire episode, though, comes towards the end. So basically, after this conversation with Sarah and Ava, where she's hinted this big bad's coming, but she won't tell her what it is. It's like, no, you don't need to know basis.
Yeah.
And Sarah comes out and tells the team. Right, this is right after Amaya tells us, a story of hulking out basically and losing control, and she's like, okay, I'm back in the team now because I need help with this and time to think.
Funny you mentioned that. Hulking out is a theme on the Flash as well this season.
Yeah, there you go. And Sarah's like, okay, right, so there's a big bad coming. It's going to be really dark. It might push us to our limits. This could be the worst thing we've ever faced. We're in so much danger. And then there's a moment of silence, and then they all burst out laughing, and I lost it. Because it was super serious and over the top, and I was like, okay, fine, you need to sell your threat. And then they started laughing. I'm like, okay, no, you were self-aware there. Very good.
You love it, and it's already become one of my favourite GIFs. I've seen it used so many times in this week already, and I love it.
And the great part is you know that it's going to have the ironic cut. It's like they're all laughing like, oh, we've already dealt with speedsters and this and that, and well, what could possibly be worse? You know it's going to cut to something worse.
Yep, and I'm so okay with that.
And we see like a water person be summoned out of like a lake or whatever, and it's Kuasa, who I'm assuming is going to be connected to Isis and that, because we know we're getting her. We know we're getting down the Shazam family line.
Yes, please.
So I assume we're getting that soon. And this is related to Malice. The other person says, "Oh, I'm a follower of Malice."
I was so impressed. I remembered that name right last week when I pulled it out of the bag and I was like, "Damn, I got it right."
Yeah.
I'm just taking the moment because I'm shocked.
Very well. But no, that was Legends. That's full of little moments to like Legends for. It wasn't as laugh a riot as the first episode was, and
it wasn't, but it had its moments.
I like the Sabertooth Tiger, but the circus plot was never that interesting compared to last episode with the Caesar and all that shenanigans.
That's true, but to be fair, they make a point of going, "Hey, we're starting easy," which kind of hopefully on a meta level, which I think I'm okay to say this season with it being so self-aware, is like, okay, we're going to start a bit tame, we're going to build up to the good stuff.
Okay, we'll see.
Hopefully. Maybe I'm being a bit generous.
Well, that's the 3 shows we officially cover. So, I guess that takes us on.
Bonus round.
Yeah, we never did Arrow last week, but I did go back and watch it because I was curious, and I actually just squeezed in episode 2 for this earlier tonight because I didn't, I wasn't looking forward to it. Let's not be crazy. So I guess I can tell you a little bit about Arrow.
Okay.
Did you watch any of Arrow?
I watched the first episode for the first time since God knows when I watched an episode sober. And I thought, why the shit did I do this? I'm never watching an episode of this sober again. So then I got hammered and watched episode 2. It was a good night, let me tell you that. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I miss Drunk Arrow. It's so bad, but it's so fun when you're drunk.
The only way we could get Drunk Arrow as part of this is to record the rest of it, take a half-hour break, let you get drunk, and then come back and record the Arrow segment.
Or alternatively, we do the Arrow segment first when we can get to it on a night where I can just get hammered and we can go straight into it drunk like we used to do. And then kind of just stick that bit on the end.
Possibly. But yeah, so episode 1 is called Fallout, episode 2 is called Tribute. Episode 1, it was a lot of flashbacks to, like, obviously we ended the last season with the big explosion on the island, which was nowhere near as destructive as it seemed at the time, because everyone's fine. The only person who died was the only one who was not a regular cast member, which is Samantha, the mother to Oliver's son.
I honestly think they killed her off just because they introduced a character called Samantha on Supergirl.
Actually, the actress
we can't have 2 Samanthas.
The actress who plays her, in fact, is in season 3 of The Expanse. I saw that this week.
Okay, I have no opinions on her as an actress because I don't remember anything from last season.
But the point I'm making is that she has better things to do, so she's a way to do that.
Honestly, I feel like most of even Stephen Amell, it's like he could do better things if he wanted to.
Yeah. He's not bad. Like, that's the thing. I've always thought he's capable of whatever.
He just gets given shit to do, doesn't he?
I'm disrobing a little bit because it's
a bit warm.
All this Arrow talk's making me perspirate. With anger.
A little bit of fear.
Yeah, fear and anger. That's what it is. So yeah, we had all these flashbacks.
I just remembered something I didn't think of in Supergirl.
But,
to go back later.
Is it a spoiler? You can drop it just now if it's not.
I mean, it's a little bit.
Alright, okay. So yeah, we had all these flashbacks. We see Thea's in a coma, and the funny thing is all of last season we kept complaining that Thea, like, it's not just so much she was missing episodes, even though she's supposed to be a regular, because she missed like half the season, spread out, like not all in one chunk, but she'd be missing for episodes at a time, and it was that if they never mentioned it, it wouldn't be a big deal, but they constantly made up these excuses. Oh, she's a conference. Oh, she's away doing this. She's away doing that. Like, they were constantly referencing it. So, during the first episode, because they intentionally tease, like, who made it and who didn't, because every time a character comes on the screen in present day that we've not seen yet, the camera does, like, a sort of reveal shot, it's like, pans across to them, and it's
yeah, because you start in the opening fight, and you got a few of them there, and it hides, I think it's Felicity, it hides at first.
Yeah.
And we're seeing some flashbacks, but we're not seeing Felicity. And then it's like, oh, Felicity's fine. She was just off somewhere else.
Yeah. So the whole tale is like, okay, it'll be the mother of the son because she's, a nobody in terms of the cast, and it'll be Thea because Thea was basically already like half off the show.
I know. I just said, oh, they could be doing other things, and Amel could be. Willa Holland wants to be doing something else, right? She does not want to be on this show anymore.
Probably. Turns out though she's not actually dead. She's just in a coma.
Yeah, but that means she can do whatever she wants for as long as she wants,
and
then
come
they can
back.
go, all right, well, we'll pay you. You can come back for one episode.
She'll come back from the crossover because she wants to do that. Because she did that last season where she just came back. And yeah, I've not been a hero for a year, but I'm going to be back. I'm just going to put the suit back on because I want to fight
This is
aliens.
it. She'll wake up just before the crossover, be like, well, I'll get back in training. It's like a crossover. I'm fine now. Don't mention it. I haven't been in a coma for a year.
Well, Felicity walked out of a building despite the fact that she'd been in a chair for months with no atrophy, so, I wouldn't put it past this show.
Touche.
I wouldn't put it past it. Oh, dear. So, the main plot, we've got Evil Laurel, Black Siren from Earth 2.
Aye. Although, I don't understand why she has the League of Assassins theme.
Good question.
I really don't. Like when she enters in the police station, that's her reveal. Before you see her, it plays the League of Assassins theme. I was like, okay, we got the League, and then she steps out. I thought it was just a weird one-time thing, but it did it like 3 times in the episode. I was so confused.
I guess it's like she's replaced like Talia, so she's taken the League theme or something.
But her henchmen aren't League.
What do you want from me? I don't
No,
know.
I'm calling bullshit on this. Don't defend it.
I'm not defending it. I'm saying the thinking's probably just that, we use that for a villain. And...
That's bullshit, though. That was a very specifically a League theme because it was Nissa, it was Raz, it was been just general League nonsense when they've been to Nanda Parbat, and now this. What the hell are they playing at? I'm not having it.
So
it really pissed me off.
So basically, Black Canary and
Black Siren.
Not Black Siren. What's her dad's name? Quentin.
Oh, Quentin.
Lance.
Yes.
it's been a summer break. All right.
It's been 4 months. How could you forget someone who's been around for 5 years?
Takes a second. He's feeling all guilty. We find out later on in the episode that they ended up having to shoot her. And he's like, "Oh, I killed my daughter," even though obviously she turns up alive. She's fine, but she's evil.
And it's not his daughter.
Yeah, and he lets her go at one point because he can't just do it again. He can't put a bullet in her. And Diggle's suffering. In the first episode, I called it gun impotency, but in the second episode, it's made clear that it's shrapnel in his nerves and his explosion.
I have to say, I'm glad it was a physical ailment and not just him being, I can't shoot anymore.
Yeah, shell shocked. Yeah.
Because I would be like, that bollocks again. Whereas this is like, okay, I don't really need this plot because I don't need anything in Arrow, but at least it's an actual physical thing, not mental. Although it's going to be mental, isn't it? It's going to be mind over matter, isn't it?
I killed my brother.
Don't remind me.
Oh, the epic plot that was. So that's going on with him. Oliver's son is a terrible actor. He cannot act at all. They keep him prisoner.
There's the bad man.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah. It does that. They basically keep him locked in a cell. Even the door. It's this sliding wooden door.
Do you know what? This is supposed to be Oliver's. It really threw me because it's like, okay, this is Oliver's home, I guess. I don't know how he's affording this now.
Well, he's a mayor, so.
I mean, sure, but
that's a job. You get paid for being mayor.
Yeah, but they've never shown us his home before.
That's because he was living in the bunker. He was
right, exactly.
Or
and then,
he was living at Felicity's apartment, even though that was Steve's apartment at first that Oliver bought for her or something. And why it's Felicity's now? I don't know. Oh, that reminds me though. Oh, what show was it last week? I think it was this week's Flash. one of the apartments that one of the characters lived at, the rich people, was this apartment. It was the Felicity's apartment. It was that
Oh,
set.
it was what the one that was going around looking at. It was the first guy
Yeah, yeah.
who was going around looking at it, and he was like, "No, I don't care about the price. I just want it anyway."
Yeah, yeah. But I'm like, this is Felicity's. This is that set. They've just redressed this same set.
Speaking of redressing sets, not even redressing, just reusing identically, the hospital bed that Thea's in is the exact same one that they always use. You know, when Laurel died, it's the same room. They've changed nothing. Like, I know it's a hospital room, but come on, they don't have to look identical. Change it around a little bit.
Fair. So yeah, we've got all that. Oh, Slade shows up for like a minute and is like, "Hey, I'm going to go find my son Joey," which it was nice to get a reference to.
It was, but it was
Joseph.
basically, "Hey, I'm going to piss off for half a season."
Yeah, he'll be back for the finale and maybe some big events in between. But that's
I'd
about
like
it.
to see him in the crossover, just because.
It'd be interesting. Although, I mean, evil Deathstroke. We kind of already have evil Deathstroke. Given
It's just called Deathstroke.
yeah, it just depends on his time of the month, really. I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the thing. Yeah, that was basically it. It's been a while since I watched this one, so I'm having trouble remembering.
I mean,
Vigilante still needs to show up because we've still not revealed who that is.
oh yeah, that was weird.
Wild Dog's get a new mask.
I like Wild Dog still. Give it that.
He's all right. He's fine.
He's likable enough, though, isn't he, compared to everyone else?
Yeah, I mean,
Some really weird editing work going on. Like, there's a moment in the bunk, you know, when they all come and attack, and Diggle's down there, and he's
he does that big tackle where he runs right across and like tackles one of them. Yeah.
yeah. But there's a moment where Curtis and I think it might be Dinah come in, and Curtis is down in because Dinah goes up and she faces Laurel, and they're fighting up on the big podium in the middle. And so Curtis is off in the walkway at the side. He's there. A guy runs at him. The camera cuts around and we see Diggle chasing after this guy. And then it comes back around. We follow where Curtis was stood. And now Diggle's tackling the guy at the end. And Curtis just did nothing to this guy. He just moved out of the way and then vanished. I don't understand what happened.
Also, I think we can say goodbye to the police station set because, like,
They blew it up.
Evil Laurel went through it and was bombing the shit out of it. So I think that's now going to be gone, which I guess makes sense because we have the mayor's office as kind of the main public building.
It's the new public hub.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Which leads me neatly to the cliffhanger at the end of the episode, which Oliver gets a call. And I saw this in Flash. I saw the newspaper in Flash. It said, Oliver Queen is the Green Arrow. And I went into the episode thinking, oh, maybe he's going to make this choice to become like public. He's going to make that Iron Man choice to just tell the public who he is and be on the up and up. And it got
Why did you give them that much credit?
I don't know.
Like, why did you even give them the benefit of the doubt at this point?
But it got to like 3 minutes before the end, and I'm like, okay, there's been no build up to that whatsoever. I thought maybe Slade's conversation was maybe pushing him in that direction.
I see that was more hinting at what's to come, isn't it? Though,
Yeah,
that didn't. Slade's whole thing was you've got to be a father or you've got to be the Green Arrow. You can't be both.
So, turns on the TV and there's a picture of him with his hood down, but he's in the costume. And so, what are we going to do? And shifting to episode 2, Tribute, they basically have it not retconned, but they have it fixed and sorted and done by the end of the episode.
Yeah, but I have to give this episode a modicum of credit, like a small amount. Because as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, but it's a photo. Anyone can Photoshop a picture. Why are they taking this as absolute fact? And to the credit, they go, hey, it's a picture. Anyone can do this.
With a Bruce Wayne name drop.
Which was interesting.
Which I was not expecting them ever to do. And they did. They mentioned Bruce Wayne in Gotham. He cracks a little joke. And okay. Do you know what I love about that joke, though? Is that I like that Oliver doesn't know that he's Batman. So that joke's even funnier to us because he actually is a vigilante.
Yes, yeah.
That's actually kind of great. I do appreciate that. So, cool. So the plot of the second episode, Anatoly's doing things. He's kidnapping.
I like Anatoly still in some way. I mean, maybe this is just the drunk me, where it's just like, hey, Anatoly, he's fun.
I know he's kidnapping business people. He's trying to hold Oliver to ransom for $20 million because he knows that they just got that to like redo the police department and.
Gonna need it now, aren't they?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, that's probably why they got the grant because hey, this is. But like, yeah, so he's there and Anatoly's dark as shit. He shoots the guy that he comes to save, but then he's like, "But I'm still a good man. See, I would never kidnap your son or torture your son. But what happens when you fight a non-good man, aka a bad man?"
I mean, he's not wrong, but it feels like, hey, audience, we're doing this season. Someone's coming for the kid.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen like 5 times this season. I'm willing to bet you money on it. So that leads to the final moment because Diggle basically has been convinced by Dinah over the course of the episode to give up being a field agent, if you will, because he can't shoot anymore. And at the end, though, Oliver says, "I want you to be Green Arrow permanently. Like I can't do this anymore. It's your turn," which he seems to accept. Maybe, I mean, I would imagine that firing a bow would be harder or more constraining.
Oh, absolutely is.
Than a gun. So I'm not sure how he plans to do that. Unless he learns to do it with the other arm. But even that is still...
It's a two-armed action.
Yeah, both arms are still... I mean, I think the one pulling back's maybe got more,
No. Have you ever fired a bow?
No, I clearly haven't. So go on.
Well, I mean, I have. You'd think that because you have to really pull back, but then you've got to keep it really steady with the other one just to aim. So you really need strength in both arms to do it.
Can I just make a weird observation about his gun thing? Just a thought.
It's stupid as shit.
Well, no, but just a suggestion how to fix it.
Operation, remove the shrapnel.
You're thinking too complex. Shoot with the other hand.
Yeah. Fair.
It's a handgun. You can shoot with one hand. I know you're supposed to shoot with two, but you can do it with one hand.
I can't argue with that. I will say I proper laughed at the moment where he missed that first shot. I know it's not supposed to be funny, but the moment where he misses the guy and I think he kind of clips Wild Dog, I laughed. I really did.
Yeah. Of course, we have obviously he talks to the kid a bunch of times. Having the kid play some video games. He's still a terrible actor, right? Let's move on. I don't want to talk about it. So Felicity and Mr. Terrific actually have a really good little conversation. It's a really meta conversation because people watch like TV shows and they often go, "How are these people doing okay for money?" And they basically have that conversation where they're like, "Oh, Curtis, I've been doing some some coding work on the side when I've got some spare time for money." And Felicity's like, "Oh yeah, I've had money left over from when I had the company, but that was a year ago. It's starting to run out." And he's like, "What does John do for money?" And then like, "Oh, he's married to the head of Argus. She's the breadwinner. It's fine." And it's like, okay, but I enjoyed the conversation because it's something you often think about. Because I think in Flash we always think it like, what are these people all doing for money? Like, Barry sure's got a job, but
Star Labs has patents pouring out of its ass.
Apparently, but they never really go into it.
I mean, to be fair with Diggle, the whole thing was he was introduced as Oliver's bodyguard. I assumed that there was a period where he had nothing. I don't know what happened then. But since he became mayor, I just assumed Oliver just employed him as bodyguard again.
Sure, you can make assumptions, but we have seen nothing of the sort.
No?
Nothing of the sort. But then the plot of this is basically Felicity wants in his coding scheme because she wants to have a job too. And she keeps pestering him throughout. And then at the end of the episode, it pitches to him that they actually just go into business together and actually do coding and make algorithms and all
I
sorts.
wanted to say, Curtis, run. This woman ran a multi-billion-dollar corporation into the ground. Run, do not get into business with this woman.
This is a fair point. I like that he says yes, obviously, and he's like, "Oh, we're like Jobs and Woz, back at the start of Apple," and I like that. I know who Woz is. He's referring to Steve Wozniak, who was also a big part of Apple along with Steve Jobs. And the only reason why I know who Steve Wozniak is because of Tetris, because he's a really good Tetris player.
That's the only reason you know who Wozniak is?
That is the only reason why I know who Steve Wozniak is.
You're a disgrace to people who like technology.
I'm a PC guy. What do you want from me?
Just, I mean, Wozniak was the guy behind. Jobs was the businessman, and he was the guy who sold everything. Give him that, but Wozniak was the tech guy behind it all. So this whole thing confused me, where they're both like, "Oh, I'm Jobs." I'm like, "You're both the tech guys. You should be aspiring to be Wozniak."
Jobs gets all the press though. He's the one who got all the. He's got 2 movies made about him.
Yeah, in the space of like a year.
Very
That's
true.
because he died. So
Very true.
he gets glorified. That happens.
Very true. So shout out to Easy Allies for the Wozniak Tetris streams, because that's why I know who he is. It's funny. He entered a Tetris high score with his name backwards because he didn't want people to know it was him into like Nintendo Magazine or Nintendo Power, whatever it was called.
I'll be honest, I didn't know about his Tetris thing. I just knew he was the tech guy. I know like a bunch of other stuff, but not the Tetris thing.
He's good at Tetris. He likes Tetris.
That was not the way I was expecting you to know who. I assumed you'd know who he was anyway.
I did not. I did not.
Weird.
It's a great name though. Wozniak. Fantastic name.
It's a pretty good name. It's way better than Jobs.
Yeah.
Although Jobs gave us Pixar, so credit where it's due.
True. Anyway, was there anything else in this episode that we wanted to talk about?
The first episode had a really weird musical moment where I can't remember the scene it was, but I remember mentioning it to my girlfriend while I was watching it. It did the Man of Steel theme at one point.
Okay.
And I thought it was really strange. I was like, why is that in here? Why are they ape? I mean, I get you want to ape other music because it's easy and, whatever. But don't ape your own, properties. Do it where people might not recognize it from.
Oh, like, is Willa Holland still listed as a regular? My God.
Is she really?
Just according to IMDb, which could be wrong, to be fair. But
She can't be, surely. They're not paying her to be in a coma all season.
best
They're
gig
not.
ever.
Oh, man. She's got it so easy. I'll lie in a bed. I'll film 10 scenes at once. There you go. I'll see you in New Year.
Oh, aye, actually, that's another plotline that was added. Is because of this whole outing, even though it's completely dispelled, Curtis and Felicity basically, send in proof anonymously that this is a doctored photograph. So it's all done by the end. But there's an FBI agent showing up to investigate Oliver because she thinks he's full of shit.
And that was the other thing I wanted to give it credit for. When I said, they referenced that, yeah, it's a photo, it could have been doctored.
Mm-hmm.
They went, yeah, we've been through this before. I did this with you, Lance, remember? We did all this shit where Oliver's the Green Arrow. And that was the thing I said. And he kind of says that to her. He goes, no, Oliver Queen was accused of being the Hood, not the Green Arrow. It's like, really? We're still pretending they're two different people?
I know.
We're still pulling this shit.
You're
FBI. How dumb are you?
That does bug me. I liked her attitude, though. She kept calling him on his shit. She's like, no, I will talk to your son. I will do this. No, you think I'm going away because of this? No, I'm looking into you. You're up to no good. So, I'm kind of, that's fine. That's probably the most exciting part, plot-wise, for Arrow this year so far. But
I'm looking forward to getting drunk again. And this is the thing, right? So, at the minute, my drinking game is kind of a bit lax. I'm kind of just drinking on the Are You OKs at the moment. I just want to feel like it, because I feel like, okay, I need to be drunker. Which, to be fair, that second episode gave me like 6 Are You OKs. It's pretty good.
Very good.
But I need more rules, so please, suggestions. What's a good thing to drink for? And I'm going to try a few out, and we'll hopefully by the time we get to the crossover and beyond, I'll have a good consistent set of, okay, this is what I drink for.
Well, I guess that wraps up Arrow talk, because I'm kind of done.
Me too. I just really want an excuse to drink more, so please, give me reasons.
So, best episode of the week.
I think I'm going to give it to Flash. I don't necessarily think it was better than the other two. I'm not entirely sure, but it was so much of an improvement.
I like how you said better than the other two.
The Arrow doesn't even count in this.
Even though you watched Arrow, that's better than the other two.
I'd already forgotten I'd watched Arrow. we finished talking about it. It's deleted from my brain.
Okay.
But I think maybe it's not better. I'm not sure. I'd have to really think about it. but it's absolutely the most improved, and I think that deserves the recognition.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Flash as well, and I think it's just down to the fact that both Supergirl and Legends felt like they dipped a little bit, not in a necessarily bad way, but...
Yeah, it's that perceived quality thing where even though they might be higher, it's that they dipped a bit and Flash rose, so it kind of seems better.
Yeah, and what Flash is getting good at is stuff that it never used to be good at, like, just like, the idea of them handling a couple like this in a funny way, where it never got tedious, it just, it's actually new for the Flash to handle it with that kind of tact. So,
No, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so Flash gets my vote this week.
Cool.
Alright, well there you go. That'll bring an end to Television from the Multiverse, episode 2. So let us know what you thought of the episodes of TV this week in the comments. All that stuff. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel and support this, you can head over to patreon.com/mailoffuzztv and do that over there. You get bonuses and stuff. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching. We screw things up for the better.